Anyway, who has a 100-word summary of all the trouble you got into last week?
We spent the majority of the session. Was the kidnapping last week or the week before?
Last week was the boat.
Yeah, I know.
Last week was boat and kidnapping.
Last week was the kidnapping, yeah.
Okay, so we kidnapped a lady, ran her out of town. Then we went on a boat, to try and get to find a monster. And Destil got blinded by. I guess he didn't take the lesson he was trying to be taught that unseelie does not equal evil. Or evil does not necessarily equal unseelie.
Yeah, there's an associative commutative property thing I gotta learn here.
And then there is a
monster algebra.
And then we threw the thing back on the wrong person, and now we got to figure out what to do next. Oh, also, I think I'm barred from the casino boat.
Everybody with Victor got barred from the boat.
Well, it was just the girls.
Why did I get barred?
So
I didn't do anything.
Jeannie was trespassed from the boat for acting the way she did. Evie was trespassed from the boat for just being Jeannie's twin. And the rest of you could probably talk or bribe your way back on relatively easily.
That's right.
Evie a lot.
The child was the child pinged on Destil's detect stuff spell.
Still made a bad bet, basically, is what it was.
Yep.
Now he needs to go back to Papa Monk and ask for more salt.
He's a 15-year-old kid who thought he knew better than all the adults, you know.
Yeah, so you just need to go admit your wrongs and beg forgiveness and 4 more grains of salt.
So,
think it's gonna work.
alternatively, here is Jeannie's proposal.
Mm-hmm.
We go on the boat during the day when there are no patrons, and we murder him.
I mean, Victor supports this idea.
Here's my reasoning. I have reasoning. It's not just because it's the expedient answer. Okay. All right. We already have witness testimony that they were... Okay, we have the word of Monk Daddy, and we have... whose name I can't forget, so I'm just going to call him Monk Daddy.
You're talking about Aethar Platten, yes?
Yeah,
Yes.
Monk Daddy.
Monk Daddy. So Monk Daddy...
Very
is
much
his
not a
word.
monk. Not even a little bit of monk.
Priest Daddy?
Priest Daddy.
That's
There
even
we go.
worse.
I'm distressed. I'm just 100% distressed.
Treble, please finish your thought.
Like
before.
you're starting your murder case, like your case in favor of murder on the edge of this cliff.
Okay.
Like you're already starting it in a precarious position.
All right. So, Priest Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
We have
That
his
makes better.
we have his word that this guy is evil and does evil things, and he knows that he has that. And
We have testimony from other people, too.
we have testimony from other people. We know this guy is
but
a rapist murderer.
But here's the
So-
problem with that. Do we want to initiate extrajudicial killings, or hear me out, do we want to take the smart approach, plant evidence on him, frame him, and have the proper authorities do the killing for us?
The proper authorities aren't going to do anything about it. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's been established. They don't seem to see him as actually a problem because he hasn't done anything in the city.
If he hasn't done anything less than probably murder a noble, he's not gonna get anyone's notice here.
So, what I'm hearing is we're all in favor of assassination.
No.
I would like to do some more research and see if I can get my hands on salt from whatever Paladin sources, because we have a few days that this ship is still in the city.
Why don't you just go tell him you fucked up and you're sorry and you've learned a very important lesson and see if he has some more.
Because this is in part a test to show me that part of this is learning how to do things, I think. So figuring out how to get something like the salt is a valuable lesson in and
So
of
I was
itself.
going to just have Ekon roll a wisdom check to come to that exact conclusion.
Okay.
You get the sense that if you go back to Platten and ask for his further assistance, he's going to tell you that if you need that, then
You're not ready for this task.
this is
Yeah,
not,
exactly.
This is not part of the work.
All right, so he's not trying to teach you humility then.
So, again,
I mean, My concern is when I research how to find this salt, I'll get direct to Platinum.
So, Treble, go ahead and finish your thought.
I'm just saying, like, I could rig up, like, I have an idea. I have a general idea of, like, maybe we could.
Are you gonna put acid on the boat?
No, firebomb the boat, and
I think I'm done listening to this plan.
Yeah, I'm not kind of not in on
Here's
this
the
plan
problem with
anymore.
firebomb. If you firebomb the boat, you might kill my potential future fiance, and I'd rather you not do that.
no, when we're what?
During
boat,
the day.
The boat is not empty during the day. It's empty
understand it's not.
of patrons, but
Oh, it's still got patrons on it during the day.
no, there won't be patrons on it, but it still has some crew that would sleep in the barracks on the ship.
Right,
during
crew
the day.
who is demonstrably complicit in these evil acts.
That's not necessarily true.
Yeah, you're
That
making
guy-
generalizations,
that
Treble.
guy
You're making
lit-
generalizations of everybody's complicity in such crimes.
I mean, I think she's right, but I also think there might be a better way around this, which is to go find more salt.
Okay, so you go work on finding more salt, and then how about can you make a firebomb small enough that we can just like slip it in his pockets and it just kills him?
No, when I say firebomb, I mean like I'm going to smuggle I'm going to use my familiar to smuggle tons of oil onto the boat, and then we're going to.
You're going to use your familiar as a suicide bomber? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Can't we
No,
just
but
cover
they-
him in oil? Like, we have to do the whole boat. Can't we just do him?
Genie is okay. Chaotic neutral. This tracks.
Okay, Birdie. Let's just calm our tits for a second.
Starting with Edmont. So we're all in agreement that the first contact was botched going down here with Orin.
Yes.
So beginning with Edmont, considering the boat's only going to be in town for the next couple of days, what, if anything, is Edmont going to do? And are we also all in agreement that you guys are going to go back in for a second pass? We haven't hashed out the exact details of that yet, but everybody's in agreement that you're not done with Orin yet.
Yes.
No,
Okay,
we
yeah.
are not.
So, Edmont, what, if anything, will you be doing before going down for second contact with Orin? Like any preparatory work or any investigation you want to do? What are you spending the next couple of days doing before everybody decides to go back in?
I could maybe sneak on board and get some more information
During
about...
day or night?
During the day.
Now, when you say sneak on board, do you mean like break into the boat unseen? Or do you mean like going in under some pretense?
I'm thinking
like socially.
going in some kind of social pretense. I'm not...
Yeah, so just as a reminder, Victor was invited back, so you could come with Victor if you wanted to.
Well, Victor was invited back at night. Edmund wants
If
to go
you-
on during the day.
I
So-
have a idea for a social pretext if you'll hear it.
I only acknowledge that I will hear it.
Okay. Hiring onto the boat possibly for when they leave.
Genie's like, I have a social pretext, so it's this firebomb I made. So
ultimate
you're
ice
suggesting
breaker.
that Edmund go on and speak to the quartermaster or the captain about potentially signing on when the ship goes to leave port?
Correct.
I can't lie. Just FYI, that's not going to fly very far.
Okay.
So Edmund, go ahead and make me a charisma persuasion check, please.
Okay. I didn't. All right. I didn't actually want to commit to this. I want a job thing though.
No, you're not. That would be deception, not persuasion.
Okay. Oh, nice. Thanks, Di, for rolling away from that 16. That's a 1.
Oh, okay. Genie, what if anything are you going to spend the next couple of days doing before you guys go onto the boat for another pass at Orin?
So I'm going to spend We have a couple of days, right? We have more than one day.
You probably have a couple of days. The ship does not have an actual schedule, so you might have 2 days. You might have a week. You have no idea of knowing. No way of knowing.
I'm gonna go into the assumption we have at least 2 days.
Okay.
So I would like to spend 1 day inquiring about, because you have a guild of magical artificers. They're going to be interested in stuff like this salt. So I'm going to inquire and describe this salt, and I'm going to see if any of them have heard of what it is.
Where are you making these inquiries?
At the guild.
And so by guilds,
I'm not sure.
the House of Unseelie Valuation? Is that what you mean?
Isn't that the Adventure Guild?
The Shipwright Guild was the Artificers, right?
Yeah, no, I mean just artificers, people who deal with magical, who build things.
Okay, so like the school that you graduated from.
Right, yeah, from an academic standpoint, have you heard of this? Is this got any interesting magical properties that maybe we could do? From an academic standpoint, what do they know about it?
Are you trained in religion?
Am I trained in religion?
It's a yes or no question.
I'm looking.
Mm-hmm.
No.
No. Are you trained in Arcana?
Yes.
Make an Arcana check at disadvantage.
Okay. That is a 9.
A 9. Okay. What is Evie doing over the course of the next couple of days?
So, Evie wants to talk with Ekon about the boy.
Let's share that information real quick before we get back to my question then. What do you want to know about the boy?
Okay, well, basically, I paid a bunch of money to a sailor who gave up all the information about Orin Twist. Basically, he's a bastard. He's raping and pillaging up and down the coast. Everything we heard about him was true, but no one has said anything about this boy.
Right.
I am not convinced that killing this boy is at all the right thing to do.
I agree, and I think that's part of the lesson.
I think so, too. So I just want to make sure, even if this boy swings at us, I don't think killing him is the right move. I think we should aim to subdue the boy.
Yeah, unless the boy turns into some sort of hideous, aberrant creature that's a threat to others, not even just us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I just want to clear that up.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
So what are you
I
spending the
completely
time
agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in terms of what I can do to help, I don't know. Sorry?
Can you subdue someone? Because everything I can do basically would leave them a smoldering husk.
I can subdue them, yes.
All right, excellent. You're on that task then.
All right, my job is to subdue the boy.
If he attacks us.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm not allowed on the boat, so I'm at a loss for what I can actually do to help at this point, because every lead I've run down to try to find out anything more about this boy has been a dead end.
Can I make a suggestion?
Mm-hmm.
You're a thief. Why don't you just sneak on board?
Because I feel like if I got caught, that would make things worse. I'm not looking to borrow trouble.
So is Evie just going to be on call until everybody else is ready to go back to confront Orin again?
I mean, unless there was some way to find out more about the boy, but no one seems to know anything about him.
So is that a yes? You're just going to remain on call for now?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Victor, what is Victor spending the next couple of days doing before confronting Orin again?
Victor is going to go back to the boat at night.
Okay.
To kind of make apologies on behalf of the house and try to socialize with the crew a little bit. And he's going to take that terrible advice of trying to get hired on board. Because as a noble, he has spent too much time cooped up in the houses. He hasn't been able to really see how the normal people live. He's heard that the boat is a interesting working environment, and he would like to, see what that's like and experience that. And his main goal is to kind of get friendlier with Orin.
Okay. go ahead and make me a... So what are you looking to actually accomplish? Like, what's the end goal? What do you want to be different at the start of the confrontation as a result of your efforts?
So he would like to be on friendlier terms with Orin, which may potentially mean joining his little gang of bruisers. He's basically trying to get additional information about Orin and how he acts and more information about the boy. And the best way that he can think of to do that is to try and get on better terms and potentially join their crew, and that way.
And Victor's alignment is neutral. All right, make me a... call this Wisdom Insight.
he's pretty useless. That's like 4.
4, okay.
Hey, this is already shaping up like the original, like the last campaign.
It's going to be great.
We're all utterly incompetent.
And what is Ekon doing?
Ekon is trying to research a source for another dose of this salt.
By what means?
Probably start in the library, read anything he can find about references to something like this, and then try going through, I don't know, probably connections within the church, within the the temple itself, and failing that, I guess start looking to black market magics, which will be fun.
And are you trying to do this without Plaiden knowing?
I'm not going to Plaiden, but I'm not trying to make it he doesn't. In his mind, having failed, but then on his own trying to acquire more salt to try again is that's just part of the job, so he doesn't think that it's a problem if Plaiden finds out. He's just not going to him for support for it.
How much gold are you willing to spend in this endeavor? Because you said you're looking into black market sources if need be.
Let's see. Looks like I have 19 gold pieces, so all of it.
All of it. Okay. Make a charisma investigation check.
Yep. Can I put guidance on this?
Yes.
Hey, Evie, are you just hanging around?
I can help you with this if you like.
Yeah, can I get an aid another from Evie?
Absolutely.
Would that work?
How is Evie helping?
Evie, I mean, she's starting to look into this black market stuff too, with her, kind of investigating into Longchin. So she may be starting to, turn up leads on things like that.
I mean, I just hope, as a, two-person fast talker kind of. Ekon's terrible at that, so.
Yeah, she's got the. I mean, I don't have the talking skills, but she has pretty good talking skills.
The only way that Evie could really help in this is if she has already made contacts, and so far you haven't.
Okay.
What I'll say, though, is if the two of you are working on this together, you could pool your gold to reduce the DC, and then one of you can make the roll, whichever has the higher.
You've definitely got a better
charisma investigation.
Charisma investigate than I do.
I mean, I could. My charisma investigate would be pretty okay.
Mine's -2.
Oh, mine would be +2.
Yeah, go ahead and take a D4 on that for guidance, and why don't you do the talking, and I'll do the research.
Okay.
And do you want to throw any money on that, or I already put in 19? You don't have to. I don't really care.
How much more would help?
Reducing the DC proportionally, depending on how much money you put in.
Oh, if I bump that up to 20, would that put us over a threshold?
You don't know.
Oh,
it's a decision you have to make with incomplete knowledge.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna bump it up to an even 20.
Bump it up to an even 20.
It's a nice round number.
Markets hate going to gold changers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead and make that charisma investigation, and you can have that D4 from guidance.
All right. This is gonna be.
That's the number.
21.
21. All right, bear with me just 1 second.
Evie's a helper.
Yeah, no, thanks. That was actually super useful. I can't even roll a 21.
Usually I can't either. Especially on investigate.
No, I mean mathematically. I can't.
At least one of you roll good.
Jeannie.
Yeah.
You make inquiries about magical salts, and you try, because you don't know what they were called. You just know that Ekon had given had made 1 dose of regular purification salts with a couple of grains of this other magical salt in it. And you just don't have the vocabulary because you're not well versed in religion, and your understanding of the magic of the situation is more tied up in how an artificer might look like it versus how a wizard would have different training. So you kind of hit the blinds trying to make inquiries at your guild because everybody you talk to just thinks you're talking about purification salt. Mm-hmm. And when you like, no, I'm talking about a different kind of salt. They're like, no, you're talking about purification salt. It's really well known. Athars can make it. These are the effects. It's well documented. That has to be what you've seen. Without actually seeing what it was supposed to do or knowing what it's called or where or anything about it, really, you just completely hit the blinds. Edmont. You talk your way onto the vessel during the day, but it's not very productive. You can tell that they're just kind of being polite and accepting of your visit during the day, kind of because they have to be. They're keeping up. They don't want it getting back to any of their big money patrons that they have not been hospitable during the day to one of the biggest houses in Brennany. Mm-hmm. But you don't learn anything. You don't make any inroads to the captain. Victor, pretty much the same deal. All of your efforts to become friendly with Orin Twist are met completely stonewalled. And part of it, what's your... You know what? No, your passive insight wouldn't apply here because it was literally an insight check. So no, you just find all of your efforts frustrated. They also don't have much use for you as far as hiring on board the ship. They're not sure what kind of skill set you would bring, and they don't really have need of extra muscle, and also you're not a very muscular guy, so all you really accomplish is having another night of flirting and gambling and drinking their ale.
I'll call it a success.
Ekon and Evie. After the second day, so if you go beyond this, you're kind of pushing it, because you might wake up the next morning and the boat might be gone.
Yeah.
You hear from a guy who hears from a guy who hears from a guy. Very sketchy kind of black market situation, but apparently will sell black market poultices and potions, and one of the objects that they can get their hands on is called Uravel salt. It's extremely rare and it's extremely expensive, and there's no way to verify before you agree to buy some small quantity of it whether it's anything. You're both trained in Arcana, yes?
I don't think I am.
Well, Ekon is, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Arcana and religion.
So when you meet the guy in the dead of night in a seedy part of town you haven't been to before, just this unwashed peasant of a man who you imagine during the day would just blend into the crowd, this nondescript person literally just unrolls this little cloth, like leather satchel in this back alley, makes a big show of snuffing out the candle before exposing it within. And there's just these little pouches of different powders and salts and things. And he will sell you a pinch of this Uravel salt. So probably 100 grains or so.
Mm-hmm.
For 100
that
gold.
much.
You can tell that it's magical. Everything in the little satchel is magical. And he's not interested in selling a lesser quantity than that. He's not going to count out 4 individual grains.
I don't have 100 gold.
Yeah, me either.
That's fine. He's willing to take credit. He knows that you're members of House Veritas.
Okay. Deal.
So you can tell that the salt is magical, but that could just mean that it's magicked to ping off of detect magic. It could,
And we do any kind of investigation on it to determine what it could be used for after it's in our possession?
if you get the sense that if you give this guy an inkling that you don't trust him, that he's not going to do business with you.
I just mean for our purposes. After we have it, would we be able to do that?
If you knew what to do with it, yes, but you don't know what kind of tests or anything to subject it to. The best way to test it would be to find an unseelie creature, glamour it as a human, and throw it on them and see what happens.
Well, we already tried that once and it didn't work.
All right, so you're going to give this guy essentially credit.
Yeah.
Okay.
This will be my birthday and Christmas present.
Complicating matters, Ruby gives you guys another family task that she wants done over the course of the next month or so to increase Veritas's business presence in the city. What she wants you to do, first of all, she commends you for how you guys handled the situation with the bookseller. She thought that went swimmingly. Hopefully in the future, there will be fewer dealings where you'll have to literally kidnap somebody and drag them in through the secret basement cave. But under these circumstances, because the house is already under such scrutiny these days, that she feels like that's kind of the best outcome. And she commends Jeannie especially for having the initial idea. And then she thought the rest of you not only did a great job in executing the plan, but also making sure that everybody came out of it unharmed. That's you could tell that was an important aspect of it for her. However, now Veritas owns this dusty, disorganized bookshop in the town, and nobody is qualified to do anything with it. Here's what she wants you guys to do. She wants you guys, as the five of you, to set the shop to rights, to do an inventory on the collection, assess its value, put the shop to profit if possible, or if not, liquidating the inventory and finding some other business to set up there instead. I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest that none of the five of you actually have the skill set to do this, so you're going
Victor
to have
might.
to probably
sage,
delegate tasks. Victor's a cutthroat vagabond rogue.
He's got, like, background in, like, scholarly stuff, though, doesn't he?
What is Victor's background?
He's got a sage background, I think.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, this would be in Victor's wheelhouse.
Yeah,
then.
I
But
think this is a job for Victor.
This is a job that's going to take months of work.
Well, I mean, we can all help, but I think Victor being in charge of that is probably the best move.
Yeah, Victor
But
will lead it in the delegate.
last time Ruby tried to give Victor a job, Victor gave her the finger and then showed his ass. So how does Victor react this time when she puts a job on the table that she wants done?
Sure, sounds like a good idea.
Because this is still Ruby we're talking about. This is not a job offer. This is a command. She's telling you what needs to be done.
Victor's opinion of Ruby has improved since she ordered them to kidnap this librarian.
That doesn't say very good things about Victor.
Unrelated, Evie's opinion has not improved.
Okay, so
Victor agrees to do it. You know, he's like, you know what, this is not the worst idea. Sure, I'll take over this and we'll get this thing in order, and then we can use it as a front for our own operations.
So you might want to write down what you're. First of all, you have to figure out what you're going to do with the shop in the short term, as far as whether it's open for business, and what your specific role is in its day-to-day operation. Second, she wants an inventory done of all of the books in the shop. Third, she wants to know if the shop can be made profitable. If it can't, she wants to liquidate all of these useless books and find some other enterprise for the premises. So those are your tasks. Are you going to remain Victor? Well, how seriously are you taking this job?
Not as serious as killing Orin, but he's going to take it pretty serious.
Okay. Are you going to remain living in the Veritas estate, or are you going to move your personal effects and things to the apartments above the booksellers?
He's going to stay in the Veritas estate for the moment.
Okay. So, to be clear, this is not something that Victor has to do personally. This is something that you can absolutely hire a trained sage or a trained librarian to assist with.
Oh, he will.
Okay.
Do any of our attendants have abilities that would be useful here?
I mean, mine doesn't.
Mine has Smith's tools and an herbalism kit.
Victor's main idea upon hearing this task is we could turn this into the sort of de facto artifact research store, where if any of the guilds that are doing exploration artifacts want to find information, they can come to us to get books and learn more about different artifacts. And he wants to make this like an interesting thing.
Okay.
So you want it to be more of a library than a bookstore.
Jeannie says that's a dumb idea.
Well,
You don't
that's
want to
why
sell
you're not in
people
charge of finding
books. You want to sell
artifacts.
people access to our books.
Evie's like, I just want to firebomb the place.
Evie doesn't want to do that.
Okay.
That's going to happen a
Victor's-
lot.
So Victor's ultimate goal in doing the shop is to also make it double as sort of a black market front for artifact information, so that Veritas has sources to find additional artifacts. Like, Victor's whole thing is trying to find more artifacts for his house.
Question: related, semi-unrelated, possibly related. What is the so in the last campaign, the trafficking of any magical artifacts from scrolls to potions was heavily
Regulated.
regulated.
Mhm.
How regulated is low-tier magic items in this city?
You
Like-
would usually you would just contract the house that specializes in the form of magic. For example, if somebody wanted an identify scroll, that's something that House Veritas could do.
Huh?
And
I mean, is that
that's
I mean,
you would commission the creation of such items. It's there. You wouldn't go to a shop and peruse their scroll selection. That's not how it works. You would go to the shop and be like, I need these scrolls by this period of time, and then they would set an appropriate price.
okay? Just wondering if we could like make magical Walmart. That's all.
Sort of. So part of the shop, we could have it where they can request services from House Veritas for magical related stuff.
I mean, that's the kind of thing, like setting up a storefront to do that would probably be a novel idea. Because typically what would happen is somebody would set a meeting with one of the members of House Veritas and sit down and explain what they needed. But setting up a storefront to actually just kind of codify that, you have no idea if it would make you any money, but it would be a
Seems
novel
like
idea.
Seems like a good idea.
Something we could try because we always do something else with the building later.
So that's long term. In the short term,
Yeah.
you've got to deal with this current inventory. All right. So what's the plan for getting back on the ship? So the idea now is just to take this salt that you bought from this back alley dealer, and you have a considerably larger amount of it. You have a whole pinch of it instead of just 4 individual
Right.
grains.
So I've got 2 shots of purifying salt left, so I'll mix 4 grains into both of them. I like the idea of sticking with the sleight of hand with the ring to get it onto the target, because if they just, no combat, no overt, anything, and they just suddenly transform back into a horrible creature, I think that raises fewer questions, and I think that's also part of what we're trying to do here.
Okay.
So I think I'll give both Edmond and I know Victor can get onto the boat. I think we only have 2 rings right now, right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I guess Victor, but let's figure out how we get the twins back onto the boat. I mean, can we just...
I know how to, I'm good on the boat. I could just cast Disguise Self on myself. And
Well,
kill him.
that leaves me out of luck because I don't have disguise proficiency yet.
Oh.
Can you just sneak on?
I mean, I could.
You could probably bribe your way on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Slip somebody 5 pieces of gold to look the other way.
I could do that.
Thought you had Disguise Kit proficiency.
Not yet.
All right. So
Soon.
we're prepared to go back onto Lucky Mooring.
Okay, sure, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Suppose.
Okay.
Oh, try not to die.
Oh,
And everybody have a pep talk before we go.
My job is the boy, right?
Protect the boy.
Yeah, you make sure that nobody actually kills the boy.
Mhm.
If we have to, subdue him.
And I can do that. I think Victor can do that. I think Edmund can do that. I think Ekon and Jeannie are going to have a hard time not killing him.
Yeah.
So the actual rule on Subdual is when you reduce a creature to 0 hit points, as long as you're using a melee attack, you can just decide to not kill them.
Mm-hmm.
If you're using a ranged or spell attack, though, it's not possible.
Yeah, I don't have any of them.
There's no such thing as a non-lethal firebolt.
I can deal with it.
All right, go ahead and take up position wherever you want.
So I'm gonna mark off a spell slot for Disguise Self.
And it's going to cost me 5 gold to get on.
Yeah, you can pay the guy 5 gold.
Okay.
And give me a... You're casting Disguise Self?
Yes, Disguise Self. The way it works just is they make a if they have to it has to be like a concentrated effort, but if they use an action to investigate me, it is an intelligence investigation check against my DC.
What's your DC?
13. Hold on,
Are you
13.
going to arrive with the rest of your companions?
No, I'm going to arrive a few minutes. Well, like, what's the process for getting on the boat? Would they have cause to
Come
turn
up
me
the
away?
gangplank and have a short conversation with one of the mooks out front.
Victor would like to get on the boat first.
I will. Yeah, I'll come with the group. I will be disguised as some like very attractive blonde on Victor's arm.
Okay.
Victor, but not Edmont.
Your DC was what?
13.
Okay.
Just the biggest tits you've ever seen.
She's like,
Maybe cares.
Victor is very glad you're not his sister at this point.
Edmont is.
She's still your cousin.
Let me put it this way: this is a sign of respect for Edmont, and this is because this is the kind of character that she thinks Victor is versus Ed. She thinks Edmont's too classy to have this kind of woman on his arm.
Fair enough.
is she right? Is Edmont classy?
Edmont is not classy, but he's not going to disillusion her.
Edmont has not ruined his image in Evie's eyes. Like Evie is not Evie. Probably Evie too. But Jeannie has grown up with Victor. She knows what kind of asshole he is.
And, Edmond, you're gonna...
We know how Victor rolls.
Does Victor know Edmont's choice in women?
All right, so red is Orin, purple is the boy. Go ahead and place them basically anywhere you want them to be, because I'm going to assume you guys are going to pick your opportune moments. You have hours to figure out when you want to strike, so their positions will be known to you.
I'm going to
When you
wait
kick
till the
things
boy is near me so that I can act against him.
Put yourself in a square. What is this?
Edmont, you're gonna have a guidance running on you, which
Sure.
will improve your sleight of hand.
Doesn't affect the D20.
So in
Sure it
addition,
doesn't. It makes it also. It gives it a friend.
Yeah, it turns that 3 I roll into a 6.
in addition to the leg breakers down here, Orin and the boy, the room's packed with patrons. I'm not going to put them on the map because I'm going to assume during the battle they're going to be doing every effort to stay away from hostilities and like dive out of the way. But just keep in mind, if you use an AoE damage spell, there will be civilian casualties, guaranteed.
So as a suggestion for one of you with the rings, you may want to start this by going to Orin and apologizing and offer your hand to shake, and then when he goes to shake your hand, spill some of the salt on it.
He's not going to go for that.
Yeah, Victor, you spent a couple of days trying to get in Orin's good graces. He's not a handshaky kind of guy.
No.
He is short sentences, guttural utterances.
Well, even with that in mind, one way you could get close to him is to go and apologize for your behavior.
So we got Edmont and Ekon at the center table. So Edmont, you're going to be the salt delivery system.
They both have a dice, but he's the first shot. If he fails, we've also got Evie, right?
So we have Evie over here standing closer to the boy. We've got Jeannie and Victor up here at the bar.
No, Victor has the other dose, because Evie wants to stay on the boy.
Okay, well, Victor's only about 20 feet away.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to roll initiative. And wherever we fall in the order, we're just going to start on Edmont's turn. Because Edmont seems he's going to be the one kicking off festivities. Does that sound about right to everybody?
Yep.
All right. Go ahead and roll that.
Nice.
The McDohl curse is transferred to me.
Evie's at 18.
So it looks like we're starting things off on 4.
Where the hell am I? Okay.
Told you, Burkroyd, like, I'm not allowed to roll high ever on anything good.
So, Edmont, you can either make a dexterity sleight of hand check, or you can make a melee attack roll. It's up to you.
Sleight of hand,
Okay?
for sure.
And that one guidance will work with.
All right. It's a 19 sleight of hand this time.
19. So, Orin, he's not wearing finery, so to speak, but just underneath. Like, he's wearing essentially studded leather armor, but it's not a full outfit of studded leather armor. It's like a studded leather chest piece, but his arms are only covered by his shirt, this puffy shirt that comes out with ruffles that come out towards his wrist. But he's not wearing gloves of any kind, so his hands are exposed. He spends a lot of the night with his arms crossed as he's kind of walking around keeping an eye on things. And he has a short sword at his side that he's wearing openly. But you notice, every few passes or so, he will take a handkerchief out of one of his side pockets and mop his brow, and that leaves one of his hands exposed for a moment. You just kind of wait for this to all coincide. And yeah, you trigger your ring, you brush your hand against his, and things get rowdy pretty quick. As you deliver the salt into his hand. He immediately knows that you've done it, and you hear him grunt, like, ah! In pain, and he clasps onto the back of his hand the one that you touched with his other one. Really, really hard. And looks at you with just this burning fury in his eyes. Like, you know you are 2 seconds away from a fight.
Key point dodge.
So, staying put?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to say
Key point dodge.
nobody is surprised because these guys, their job is to... essentially, their job is to be on top of things all the time. So he cries out and glares at you, and I'm going to go against their passive perception, which is fairly high here. So, all of the thugs in the room. Did I use the thug stat block? I did. They're thugs.
Good.
The ones closest to you move in on your position, kind of blocking you in at the table. The other ones around the room, there are 2 up on the bar level. There's 1 on the opposite side of the room, up here in between the tables. And you can't see him, but you know another one is patrolling back and forth up on the staircase level leading up to the top deck.
Yep.
So this one, he comes around the banister. You can see him on the first landing of the stairs.
Call out to Ekon and say, it's him.
All of the thugs, they have truncheons at their sides. And the 2 that step in close to you, you see their hands go to theirs. And it looks as though they're going to take their orders from whatever Orin does next. That's going to bring us to the boy.
Okay.
Celestial Fee Fae are undead.
Or aberration.
Or aberration.
Okay, Ekon's gonna have to make, or not Ekon, Edmont is gonna have to make a saving throw here.
I would really rather not, but okay.
It's an intelligence saving throw.
What?
Well, we're good at that.
You know I'm not proficient at those. Oh, wait. Yeah,
We
I
all
am.
are. All of us are
Yeah,
proficient.
everybody. No, all nobles are proficient in intelligence.
Or just that brainiac. That is a 21, good sir.
21.
This a baby mind flayer.
As Orin kind of cries out and glares at Edmont, and the thugs start closing in around him, Jeannie, you become cognizant of the boy next to you, whispering a few words and making some gesticulations
You mean
with
Evie?
his left hand. Did I say Jeannie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're twins. It's not your fault.
Yeah, it's I'm-
Okay, but I know he did that.
yes, because he's casting a spell at
Okay.
Edmont's direction,
Okay.
and
Side eye.
Edmont, for a moment, you feel all of the muscles in your body tighten up and start screaming in pain, but just for a moment. And some of your martial arts training kicks in. You like flex your pecs and your arm muscles and crunch your fingers together, and the sensation passes after just a moment.
Still
And
dodging.
who's next?
We've got
That was purple.
Evie with Genie on deck.
All right, Evie, you're up.
Okay. Did Orin transform into something?
All he's done so far is and he grabbed his right hand with his left because Edmont brushed up against his right hand. So right now he's just clutching his one hand in his other hand.
Okay, so do I want to be the first person to take a swing? Is there any way that I could, like, attack the boy without anyone seeing it?
No, that would be impossible.
Ugh. Well, the boy attacked us, so I feel obligated to take a shot at him.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna attack the boy. This is
With
gonna
what?
be with a dagger. But I'm
So remember, you can use your bonus action to get advantage because rogues didn't have that yet, right?
so I have my familiar who can give me advantage.
Nice.
I think they don't get that till 3.
Oh, they don't. Okay, never mind. Sorry, my bad.
I'm gonna use my bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark on the boy, which is gonna give me an additional D6.
Okay.
Okay. And then just let me get my dice out here. Oh, I already had one.
Shoutouts to other McDohl.
Okay, so I'm gonna attack the boy. This is at advantage. Ooh, that is a natural 20.
Oh, okay.
So that's a crit, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I roll my dagger damage twice.
Roll all the dice twice.
All my dice twice, even my sneak attack.
Yeah.
Dice.
How,
Yep,
how are you
yep,
getting sneak
dice.
attack? You don't have advantage on the roll. And you
I
don't have it out.
had advantage because of my familiar.
No, your familiar has to use. Your familiar goes after you.
Yeah,
Oh.
your familiar hasn't had a turn yet.
Question: are we using that critical hit table?
If you want, do you want to roll on the critical hit table?
Do I have to spend blips to do it?
Yes.
No, thank you.
You did put Hunter's Mark on there, so you basically get a quasi sneak attack. It's an extra
Oh.
D6.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because your familiar can't. Familiars don't actually count as allies, do they?
Yeah, they do. The familiar
Familiar
can
had-
take the help action, but it
Yeah.
has to do so, which takes on its next turn.
Well,
Right,
I thought it acted at the same time I do.
And that's
Oh,
right
I-
after you.
I
Yeah,
thought
we just have a house rule that all your pets act right after your turn.
Yeah, we,
Okay.
we
so
went
it's
over
consistent.
All right.
Uh, do they count as allies though?
that. I don't think so.
Why wouldn't they?
That's a good
They're
question.
creatures.
How has this never come up before? I feel like I've never had to make this rule.
I mean, I think that's the main thing we've used familiars to do is take the help action.
Grand
you
A,
Right.
use.
yeah. Do a
Grand A.
action. Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway.
I mean, familiars are creatures and
Okay.
are friendly, allied with you.
Anyway,
your
that's-
familiar can't be on your space. It has to be in an unoccupied space.
Oh, okay. So he's here then.
That might be out. Mine would be outside. It's on my shoulder.
Anyway, that's 22 points of damage, and I'm not trying to kill him.
Okay. I'm looking for the word creature in this Find Familiar spell.
The stat block is that of a creature.
It would be the stat block of an owl.
Yes. Yeah, you know what? Then it would count as an ally.